Okay, this is Math Set 3, question 7. From what I heard, this was a question that most of you have a bit of problem solving. Now, there's an easy way to do this. Okay, you have to do it step by step. Okay, let's go through this. Now, right at the start, we know there are some buttons in the box for sale. Okay, Mrs. Lim bought half of the buttons in the box and was given 5 free. So right at the start, the total amount. Okay, Mrs. Lim bought half of total plus 5 free. Okay, so how much is left? Half of total minus 5. Correct? So this is the amount that was left after Mrs. Lim bought. Then it says that Mr. Muthu bought half of the remainder and was given 3 free. So in this case, this is after Mrs. Lim. Okay, half of, I call this ML. Okay, after ML, that means after Mrs. Lim, plus 3. Sorry, because Mr. Muthu took 3, right? And the other one, half of ML minus 3. Okay, this is the second time. This is after, this is for Mr. Muthu. Now, next, one more, Mr. Ollivander. So this is after Mr. Muthu. Okay, after Mr. Muthu, Ollivander took half of I call it Mr. Muthu. Okay, on top of that, he got 2 free. Okay, so what is left? Half of Mr. Muthu minus 2. Okay, so this is every time, this is what is left. So this actually represents something. This is actually this amount. Correct? This is actually this amount. Okay, let me use a different colored pen to show. It will be a bit clearer. This is this amount. This is this amount. Okay, so simply what happened is I just bring it down. So at the very end, I know there are a dozen buttons left. So what does it mean? This means this is actually what is left at the very end is 12. The dozen is 12. So what I know is half of Mr. Muthu minus 2 is 12. Okay, using the dark side, light side, this thing I bring over. Half of Mr. Muthu is actually 12 plus 2 equals to 14. So half of Mr. Muthu is 14. So one whole of Mr. Muthu is 14 times 2 equals to 28. So what does this mean? This means that this is 28. Okay, this amount here is 28. Now, if this is 28, what does it mean? It means that when I bring up, this is actually 28 as well. Correct? This is also 28. Okay, this is also 28. So what do I know? I know that half of ML, Mrs. Lim, okay, minus 3 is 28. Okay, so half of Mrs. Lim is actually 28 plus 3 equals to 31. So Mrs. Lim is 31 times 2 equals to 62. So 62, Mrs. Lim has 62. Okay, I solve another portion, 62. Then I do know that this is this, right? This is the same. Okay, so what does it mean? Once again, the same few steps. Okay, half of total minus 5 equals to 62. So half of total is 62 plus 5, which is equal to 67. Okay, what next? What next? Total, very good, is 67 times 2, 134. And that's my answer. Simple.